What is going on, guys? Sir Lewis here. In today's video, we're gonna actually take a look here on Toshi and Turbo. I'm gonna give you an update on both of these meme coins, what I think about them at this price point, the next price target if we do go down lower. I'm gonna share my opinion and my bullish or my bearish on both of these coins. Right, we're gonna start off with Toshi here, of course, and then we'll end with Turbo. Right, but before we can get to Toshi, you guys can check out my BitUnix link. It should be in the pinned comment or description. You guys can get up to $300 bonuses just by depositing. And if you use my link one time, every single month I get a new campaign, and you can do the same thing again. So take advantage of that. Use my link, and if you want to get a safe crypto wallet, I recommend the Trezor Safe 7. You can use my link for that as well. It'll definitely help out the channel, but it's my #1 favorite one in terms of security, being open source. And it does have Toshi, like you can hold your Toshi on the Trezor Safe 7 because it does have base network, and it can also hold Turbo, which has Ethereum, obviously. Right, so my opinion on the market right now, guys, am I bullish on Toshi? Am I bullish on Turbo? Look, I'm very bullish on the markets. I know it's, complete opposite right now with bearish sentiment. And hey, we can have some lower targets here. I'm going to share here my price targets if we do go down lower. But I don't believe we have a ton of downside, right? I don't believe we're going to crazy, bear market levels. I don't believe we're in a bear market, to be honest. And I know it seems like that, but you're letting these influencers get to your emotions, and everything that's going on gets to your emotions. The honestly truth is quantitative tightening is ending December 1st, right? We know that these big players, they want to get as many normal people like me and you out of this market, aka retail, or people that aren't crazy rich, or maybe you are, I don't know, but they want to get as much of these people out of the market, panic sell these low prices before they pump this market to all-time highs. That's the honest truth. And we see that with the corruption of Binance and all these CCP exchanges. I mean, it's out there. You can literally see the shorting and everything. There's a lot of manipulation going on, and I definitely don't believe we're entering a bear market. I'm still super bullish, and I've been buying. I reached my goals for a Turbo. Now I'm about to reach my goals for Toshi in terms of my holdings, right? So let's take a look here first at Toshi, and we can see the monthly. Like, even on the monthly, we're not putting in a lower low yet, right? And I don't believe we will. Okay, you can see this is a big red candle on the monthly. Yes, we can have a more downside here, right? The next month we can have another big drop and test the 618 here. That is a very big possibility. But let's zoom in here on the weekly. Okay, because you can see the weekly, we got 5 days left here on the weekly. We can see we got a nice bottoming tail here, at least so far, but we can definitely continue this downside to that price point here that I said. The 618 is at 00035. That is a target at 00035 level. So far, we're holding the previous bottom here, right? The previous close here from back in June, which is around here, 00038. Okay, we hold above that, we'll probably see some price movement to the upside to test the next target up, which is 00050. And if we're bearish, we get a big resistance there, and then we test the 618. Okay, so for if we're bearish like that, boom, and then we could bottom out here. Okay, if not, maybe this is a double bottom here, and then we can start working our way, pivoting to the upside. Okay, either way, I'm still bullish on this structure here for Toshi. This is still a beautiful uptrend. Yes, this is the thing. Overall, we're still in this uptrend. Now, did we break the trend for the recent uptrend, like right here? Yeah, we broke it. This is it. But what it's doing is it's trying to find a higher low. It's trying to find a higher low either here or down here, right? We're trying to find a higher low to continue this long-term uptrend. And something that makes me super bullish, not just on the market, but on Toshi is, look at this, guys. Look at this. On the weekly, it's very, very oversold. In fact, it's so oversold. The last time it was this oversold in this territory, the same territory right here at the bottom, was right here, right? The first big drop after the Coinbase listing at 00022. So we are going to get bullish divergence on the weekly, and that is huge. Once we get that crossover right there on the weekly, once we start to get that crossover and we start to change momentum to the upside, and we basically, I mean, when that happens, we can fall down lower, right? Get more panic sellers, fall down here. But even if you fall down here, we're still super bullish because we are getting that bullish divergence here, whether putting the higher low there or there, because we are in the same territory, but we're putting in a higher low. That's bullish divergence. Okay, so looking at this, we're very close to confirming that bullish divergence on the weekly for Toshi. Okay, and we can see right here on the daily, right, pretty bullish here on the daily, getting a nice tweezer bottom here. But overall, I'm pretty bullish on Toshi, even though, like I said, we can come here and test that 618, which is a... So just watch out. If you have a big panic, another big panic dump, 00035 to 00030. Okay, I would believe Toshi can bottom out there if we have another big panic. But look, I already reached my goals for Toshi. Oh, not Toshi, Turbo. I haven't reached it yet. But I've been on the way dumping here. I've been buying. Okay, I didn't go all in, but I've been buying here. And I did buy here at this level, right? I'm not going all in at a price. I'm not waiting for a certain price to go all in. I'm buying as we go. Okay, you never know 100% the bottom, right? So, yeah, very bullish on Toshi. That's Toshi. Now let's take a look here at Turbo, which is another story here, right? But we can look here. Let's start with the monthly. I like starting out with the monthly. Now, Turbo's chart, in a way that is similar to Toshi, is it's still in this long-term uptrend, right? Yes, recently, did it break that uptrend? Yeah, it broke it. Boom, right? And then boom, right? We're in this downtrend in the short term. But long term, we're still in this nice uptrend. Long term from when Turbo came out and they started exploding, right? Now, we're coming down here to test these very important Fibonacci levels. So far, the monthly is holding that 0.38. Now, my big thing here, guys, is if we close below that 0.38, so maybe a little bit lower here where we wick down to, we get a close right there on the monthly. For sure, I do believe for sure we're testing that 0.5, which is 00092. Okay. Now, this is what I mean by, like, I don't know if that's going to happen. So I bought Turbo. I already reached my goals. Because I could be greedy here and I'd be like, okay, no, I'm going to wait till that happens. It might not happen and Turbo bottoms out here. You see what I'm saying? So, you always want to have some money left. You don't want to always go all in. Okay, and on the monthly, we're extremely oversold on the monthly, which is great. And just, big heads up, next time we're overbought on the monthly, that could be when Turbo tops out within 1 to 3 months. Okay, now on the weekly, we can see that we're holding that previous big drop here from back in April, right? We're holding that low. So this is good so far, right? We're not putting in a new low here. So that tells me that so far at the moment, there's a big chance we don't actually come down to that 0.5. But if we get a close here below that 0.38 on the monthly, and look, the signs will be starting with the weekly. If we get a lower close here on the weekly, maybe around here, right? Putting in a new low here on the weekly, then most likely you're going to close here below the 0.38 on the monthly, and we're going to test out that 00094. Okay, so what makes me bullish here too is we somewhat are getting some bullish divergence here, right? Putting in a slightly higher high while having the same territory on oversold RSI here on the weekly. So it's not the biggest bullish divergence, but it is technically bullish divergence here on the weekly for Turbo, right? And as you guys know, guys, like the best times to buy is not just when the sentiment is super bearish like it is now, and the fear and greed index is at all-time lows, but also when you see it in the charts, extremely oversold on the weekly, extremely oversold on the monthly, right? We're testing these critical levels here from the past. So these are all signals and signs that it's a good time to invest. Okay, even though we can potentially come down a little bit lower, I believe there's more upside in the future than downside in the future, because I don't believe we're in this bear market and we're going to come down to, super low prices. And when it comes to Turbo and Toshi being, good meme coin choices, I believe it's like right there in the middle. It's not super high cap like Bonk or Pepe, but it's not super low cap to where no one knows about it and it doesn't have a big community. It's like right in that sweet spot. Has a pretty big community, has great charts, still is bullish in this bullish structure. So I'm bullish on both. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.